Welcome back to part 2. Just to recap, we created our screen, which is pretty much all done. We created our team selection screen, which you select which ones you want. We created a gallery to collect that information, and then we made a search for the username and whether they're an owner or not, and then we made it an area to collect that information. Okay. So now all we got left is to push that information into the team, to the groups, right? So right now all we need left now is a button, right? So let's go ahead and create a button that we're going to put in the bottom to execute that action. Okay. So we're going to put a button down here, and we'll make it fairly big, move it to the bottom, make sure it's not overlapping our gallery here, and we're going to call the button add user to groups. Okay, because we can do, there's 4 different types of actions there, right? We can add one user to multiple groups. We can add a user to one group. We can add multiple users to one group, or we can add multiple users to multiple groups, right? Alright, so what we're going to do next is we're going to put this command in there. The command is actually very simple, okay? But we still got to add something before it'll work. Okay, so I'm going to put the command in here just so we have it. We're going to be running a Power Automate that's going to do all this. Okay, I'm not going to go through all this, but I will document it. When I do my cheat sheets for you guys, I will document how the flow works. Okay, and I'll probably put a link to the zip file that for the export of it. Okay, so it's called group perm dash group add member. Okay, so what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to go to Power Automate. We're going to add a flow, and I'm just going to type the word group in here. We're looking for group perm add group member. Okay, once it adds, it should immediately go because it's the same name. Okay, and all we're doing, like right now, remember I told you every time we ran this, it would take the collection and convert it to JSON, and this is what it looks like in JSON. Okay, it's got to go to Power Automate like this. Okay, so right now we could run it and it'll work. So let's briefly go through this Power Automate. Okay, since I don't need to be in Power Automate to go through this, I'm just going to do it through Power Apps. Figured it'd be easier. Just got to wait for it to load. Alright, of course it's a Power Apps triggered flow. Okay, instant cloud flow. The list of users is being produced from the JSON. Okay, that JSON that's being collected, it's getting pulled into this thing called array users, or ARR users. Okay, it's a string. What we're going to do is we're going to parse it. Okay, in here we have a schema set up so that way it pulls out the group ID, is owner, user ID, and username. Okay, the user ID is just the Azure ID of that person. Okay, the group ID is the group ID of that group, of that team, or that group that's up at the top here. Okay, and then what it's going to do is it's going to do one item at a time. First thing it's going to do, it's going to check the group membership. It wants to see if that person belongs to that group or not, because you don't want to have to, because it will throw an error if you're already a member and it tries to add you anyways. So it's going to check it, and it's going to give us a true false thing. It says if is owner is equal to true, it's going to take this route. Okay, if they're not an owner, they're going to go this way. Okay, so if you want them to become an owner of that group, it's going to go to the yes side. Okay, and when you open up the yes side, it's got another condition that says, hey, if the length is equal to 0. Okay, and when it's talking about the length, it's talking about the length from this. Okay, and if it's equal to 0, that means they're not a member. So it's going to go this way because it's got it before it makes them an owner. It has to make them a member first. So it uses that HTTP call to add them as a member, and then it adds them as an owner. Now, if they are a member already, it just goes over here and just adds them as an owner. Now, if they're not a member and they're not going to be an owner, it's going to come over here and it's going to ask the same question. Hey, are they a member? If they are a member, which won't equal 0, nothing will happen. Okay, but if they're a member already, it just, if they're not a member, then it'll add them as a member. And that's all. It's all this flow does. Okay, it's a real simple flow. Okay, once it loads, it'll go away. Okay, so what this does, it runs the flow. Okay, and then it clears out my teams, which will clear this out, and then it clears out co-users, which will clear this out. Okay, so now I'm already a member of all these, so it ain't really going to do anything. But just to show you that it works, I'll show you. Okay, run. Boom, it's done. See what it did? It cleared out this, and all my selections are all active again. So now let's go to Power Automate. Let's make sure this works. Alright, so I'm going to show you what it did. So let's go to Power Automate, which is right here. Now, my teams, see what it did? It sent me a message just now saying job is complete. Alright, so we're going to go to my flows, and I'm going to go to the add group member. Okay. Oh, it failed. I wonder why it failed. Probably because I'm already a member. See, I don't have anything in there saying if I'm already an owner, so that could be why it failed. Let's see what it says. Yep, that's what it is. One or more added object references already exist. So I probably need to add that in there, so it is what it is. So let's look at one that succeeded so you can actually see what it looks like when a good one goes through. Alright, so start here, list users. Okay, so here is our JSON that got pushed from Power Apps. Okay, but it just keeps it in one line. But you know, see, it's got all, there's 3 different items here, right? Then it parses it, which come down here. You'll see there's 1 item. There's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5, there's 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 different items in here. Okay. Then it's going to come down here. As you can see, it's got 8 items from this step. First thing it's going to do is going to check membership. Okay. Remember that thing that equals 0? This is equal 0. Okay. Just has two square brackets. Okay. Now it's asking if it becomes an owner, but that's just the first one. See, if you scroll through here, it'll bring up different things. Oops. Okay. It says false, so it's going to come over here. Comes down. It's saying, is the link 0? If it's true, it's coming over here. If it's false, it's going over here. So it is true, so it ran. It uses Microsoft Graph to create that membership. Okay. So it grabs that ID of that user and adds them to this group right here. Okay. And if you want to look at it, you can download the thing and see what it does right here. It gives you the information from that transaction, which most people don't know what that stuff is. And then when it finishes, it says job is complete. Okay, like I said, we can do more detailed than this, but this works for what I'm doing. Okay, so that's what this thing does. This is this screen. It's now complete. Okay, you can do that all you want. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I want a way to look up who's a member of each team or each group, so I can see who's already in there, right? So I don't add them a second time, right, and cause errors. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a container, which is just another page, and it's going to show who's a member of that team or that group. So let's go in here. We're going to go insert, layout, and we're going to create a container. There's no reason to build a whole nother page for it. What I like to do is I like to keep the title visible, but I completely encapsulate the screen because I don't want anything underneath it showing, right? So we're going to in here. I'm going to make, right now it's transparent, so that's why you can see the other screen. So we're going to cover it out. Okay, now first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a label in here so I know. I'm not going to put it right at the top so I can see a separation. And then I'm going to say group name, put a couple spaces, and then we're going to go and gallery 1 dot selected dot display name. It'll tell you which ones you selected last. Okay, just gonna make this, we'll make this like 25, and then I'm gonna make this bold. We're gonna center it. We'll make it black so it conflicts with the other bar that's up there. We want to have a contrast, right? And then I'm going to insert 2 more labels, because one label is going to have our ID of our group. Okay, just so you have it readily available. Okay, and we'll just say group ID. Whoops, forgot to put quotes in front of it. Quotes and gallery 1 dot selected dot ID. See what it is? Now, just to make it a little better, we're going to color code this a little bit. So I'll make it, I'll do green, I guess. Okay, and then I'm going to copy this, paste it, so I don't have to redo it again. Put it over here, and instead of doing the ID, we're going to do how many members belong to that group. So we're going number of members and count rows filter (365) groups dot list I can't remember the name of the data connection now. Oh, it's Office 365 groups. I knew it didn't look right. Office 365 groups list group members Wait, I don't think I need filter actually, if I remember right. Okay, I'm going to have to produce my gallery first before I can get a count, right? So let's go in here, let's go ahead and make my gallery. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a gallery. So let's go insert, let's go down to blank vertical gallery. Now we're just putting names in here, so it doesn't have to be very wide. You know, so let's just go ahead and set it like right here. Our items will be our table produced from our thing here. Okay. And then we're going to, we'll set our item about that big, it doesn't matter. We're going to insert our label to house our name. Okay. Now what we could probably do, since the names are originally not that wide, we could probably do put a label like that. Alright, so it defaults to this. It's not what we're going to use. We're going to go dot value dot display name. And of course it didn't work. Dot value dot nothing. Okay, so it's going to be this dot display name. That's not working either. Alright, I discovered I was putting the value in the wrong spot. Okay, so I was putting it out here inside the thing here. I need a dot value at the end, which created my table. And then out here, I just display my display name. Now what I want to do is create 2 rows. So we'll do a wrap count of 2. So that way it won't be completely long. And then up here, I'll do my count rows will be my gallery. Okay, so it's be gallery 4. So we'll go, wow, really? So we'll do gallery, wow, 4 dot all items, and then close it. And as you see, it says total number of members is 1. Okay. Now what I could have done is this too. I could have done it like this. I could have grabbed this value right here and put it in here, but putting the gallery in there is easier. But if you go like this, just replace this with what you put in there, it's still going to give you 1. Okay, but you see how much more there is in there? Just plus it's reactive off the gallery. So if you change the gallery configuration, it's going to automatically change. So let's put gallery 4 dot all items back in there. Okay, and there's your screen. Alright, so I'm going to close up this a little bit, and now I want to return back to my screen, right? Alright, so the way we trigger this thing is through variables. Okay, 1 variable. Okay, it's a true or false. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put our button in to close this. So you go button, grab it to the bottom here, I usually put the close button at the bottom. It's just easier. It's easier to find that way. And I'm going to say close screen. And then on the on select, we'll set it as set var show members false. Okay, I'm going to copy this, and then on our container we'll rename it to show members, and we're going to go down to our visible. Right now it's set to be on all the time. We'll set our variable in there, and boom, it disappears. Now we're back to here. Now that's not the end. Okay, we still got to put a button to bring it back. Okay, so what we're going to do is in this gallery here, we're going to edit the item, go into our buttons, and I'm pretty sure it's the add button. No, person is what I want. This is a get operation, so I'm not trying to add anything. Alright, so it created a button. Slide her over. So the height is 14, so we'll make the width 14. And then we're going to slide this person next to the plus sign. Okay, so they can look up any group they want right from here. Okay, and our on select is going to be set our variable to true. So let's grab a different one. So if I run this one, it opens up, there's no members. Close. Okay, I know there's at least one of these, which is me. Close. Now if you really want to see a lot of people, let's go to T sandbox, right? Click that one. There's 24 members. Now because I didn't make it very wide, probably what I can do is make the font a little smaller. I never did change the font. Usually I put it like 10 because it's readable, more readable. Okay. And we close the screen. So it is dynamic off of which button you select here. Okay. And the last thing we're going to do with this app for its completion is create a bulk upload tool. So if like you want to upload like 3,000 people to a group, okay, this is how you do it. Now keep in mind, every time you add somebody in this thing, it will send them an email. I haven't quite figured out how to get the email to stop going out, but it's not always a bad thing. It lets them know they've been added to a group. Okay, I'm trying to be all sneaky and stuff. Alright, so for that we are going to close up some of this stuff here. We don't need all this stuff open. Alright, so we're going to go back to our main, and I'm going to make another screen or another container. Okay, now don't get too crazy with the containers. I found out with my last app I made, it can cause problems because containers can overlap each other, right? And depending on the last one you made, that's the one that's going to be on top. And if you want something underneath and you have that container up, it's going to block, it's going to cover it up, and you ain't going to be able to see it. Okay, and then you got to remember to turn all those variables off every single time. So, but we only have 2, so I'm not too concerned about it. So let's go ahead and insert. I mean, if you're really concerned about it, just make screens. It's just easier. The containers cannot go outside their screen. So we'll go down to layout. We're going to make another container. Since these 2 containers should not interfere with each other, it's alright. Okay. So like I said, we're going to line it up so it takes up the whole screen except for the title bar. We'll make this one we'll do this one green. It's a gaudy color, but it is what it is. Alright, so now we're going to build our bulk screen. Okay. So let me see here. First thing we're going to do is we're going to Just give me a second here. I like to bring up my other app so I can see what I got to build. Alright, so we're going to set up, this basically has 3 portions to it and 2 buttons. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put a label up top so we know we're on our bulk upload screen, right? So we're going to put it about right here. Go, oops, I didn't mean to drag it. Trying to stretch it across the screen. Alright, so here we'll just say bulk upload users to a single group. Okay, we'll make this like 25. And then we're going to make it bold. We're going to center it. We'll take the background color, turn it black. And then we're going to make our font color white. Okay. I didn't quite get it all the way to the top, I guess. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to create our drop down to select which team we're going to upload to. Okay, so now we're going to put in our drop down for our team selection, or group selection, I'm sorry. So you can use a combo box or drop down. Drop downs are simpler at this point, so I'm just going to insert a drop down. So we'll drop down, put it right here, and then I'm going to put a label right above it, so that way it'll let people know they need to select the group they want to add to. So okay, so let's make this a little longer so it's in one line. Okay, and then we're going to basically use the same command we use for the first items. Okay, so we're going to go sort Office 365 users, list grouped owner v2, open close, comma, dot value, whoops, dot value, comma, display name, comma, sort ascending, close. Okay, so now when we select something, and I don't see anything here, so something's not right here. Oh, I'm missing display name here. And then, since we're using a drop down, we need to reset, since we want it to be blank when we start, true. Okay, and then where is allow blank? Allow empty selection, true. Okay, now just for temporary reasons, I'm going to insert a button here to clear that. Okay, so we'll put a button over here. We're going to refresh, or no, reset, drop down 1, And then we're going to run this to reset it. And then we can delete this button. We don't need it no more. Alright. Now, this is going to become drop down bulk team cell. Okay, for team selection. Okay. Now, next thing we need to put in here is a text input. Okay, that text input is going to be used for inputting the semicolon, the limited email addresses. So we're going to make this pretty long, and we'll probably make it a little wider. It's going to have several. Okay, and then the next first thing I'm going to do is my input text is going to go away. Okay, I don't want a default in there. Okay, and then we're going to change this to 10, so we make the print a little smaller. And then we're going to come down here. We're going to go to set this to multi-line, and that's about it. Okay, now hint text. I want the hint text to say something, right? So they know what they need to be putting in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy what I have in my app, so I don't have to retype it all again. And I'm going to put it in there, in the hint text. So we're going to come in here. I think I still got the quotes around it, so we're going to do this. Nope, I don't. Never mind. So we'll do it over here. Okay, hint text here. So now it tells you enter email address is separated by a semicolon. Okay, and then at the bottom we're going to put a button that's going to activate that execution. Okay, and we're going to call this text in here, add members. Okay, now for the on select button, we're going to run another Power Automate, and we're going to create another collection. Okay, so I'm going to put in the whole command, but it's going to, like I said, just like before, it's going to have an errors. Okay, add external account. Okay, that's what, see, these emails can be within our tenant or outside our tenant. It'll add it just the same, just as long as within the federation. Okay, so we're going to go to Power Automate. We're going to add the other flow, and this one starts the same way. So we group Perms, add external account. Okay, when we do this, it's not going to clear the error, but it's going to get you closer. Okay, so we need to get a collection called cold names. Okay, cold names don't exist yet. Wait a minute, I think, wait a minute, does it? No, not yet. Okay, so down here we're going to clear collect cold group members, which is going to pull from this. Sort Office 365 groups, list group members. So this is going to be, it's going to be pulling the ID from that drop down, right? So it'll be DRP bulk cell. Okay, so basically it's going to take all the group members and put them in this thing right here once you select it here. Okay, once you add the members, and then you're going to reset this. Okay, this is text input 2, so let's rename it to text bulk email input. We're going to grab this name and we're going to put it on this button here. I don't know why my drop down thing doesn't work. Okay, so this will go here. Now, what's wrong with this? Name isn't valid, call names. Okay, so call group members. Okay, so I did forget to put one formula in, and that's on our text input. Okay, so our text input right here on the on change, you're going to run this. Keep going up and down like this, it's driving me crazy. Alright, so we're going to clear collect call names, split. This is going to be our this. We could have just put self there, but I'll leave it like it is. Okay. Now there's going to be a blank spot at the end. That's what this is for. It's just removing the black spot, and then we're going to set var call names to this. Okay. Just like we did in the other thing. And here. Oh, this is going to be the drop bulk cell. Okay, so everything works. Now, before we run this, let's run through alright, let's collapse this. So we're going to run through our flow. Now remember, I'm going to make detailed notes on this, and I'm going to import the individual flows so that way you have them. Okay, this one's pretty simple. Well, until you get here. All right, so it follows the same kind of course. It's going to have a string value that comes from that's what this right here is. Okay, and it's going to save it as call names. Then it's going to parse it. Okay, with this schema, it's basically just got the email address and then the required value, right? Alright, now apply to each. Now this is where it gets a little confusing. Okay, it's grabbing that body of that parsed JSON, and then it's going into a condition. Okay, the condition is it takes the value. If it ends with army.mil, it's going to come down here. If it doesn't, it's going to go over here. So basically, this is processing a tenant user. This one's processing everybody else. Okay. You come down here. The group ID is going to be add member to group ID. Okay. That's the group ID of the team or of the group. Okay. And then this is the email address, but it's going to loop through each one at a time. Okay. And add them in. Now, I've personally added 5,000 names at once. It takes a while. It takes about 45 minutes. But it's still faster than what you could do it. So, this is still the better method. Okay, if it's external, it comes over here. And you add the group, and then what you're doing is when anybody comes in as an external user, they're going to have that string of information right there where it says pound ext pound at army eitaas at on microsoft.us. Okay, their email address is all going to end like that. Okay, it's going to go their email address and then an @ symbol. Okay, then an underscore, and then all that other stuff. So that has to be put in there. So the principal name, see over here, it's just whatever the email address is. Okay, over here it has to be fixed. And then of course I have my post message at the end. Okay, so there's that. Sorry, I had to get a drink. My throat's getting really dry. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to show our current members of the team that you select, of the group you selected. Okay. Here, let's make the drop down just as wide as the text box, so we got some uniformity here. Okay. So we're going to select something here. Okay, so we'll select. I'll just do my T's mailbox. Okay. Now, over here, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a text input, or a text label, okay? This text label is going to identify, it's going to say current members, and it's going to give me a number. But I'm not going to, I'm going to segregate it, okay? So, I'm going to make this a little smaller. We're going to make the background color black. Well, we'll make it orange. Okay. Current members. And then I'm going to add another label. This one ain't going to have any colors. Okay, we're going to make this a little smaller so it's the same. And then I'm going to move this to the end. Okay. And then I'm going to add this command, okay, for our text. We're going to go current members, number of members, and then we're going to count the rows of the collection we just made, and then we're going to put max of 999 visible. Okay. Trying to see why it says 0. Oh, because it has 0. Okay, let's see. I think we're missing something here. I think this thing needs to run some too, so I forgot that formula as well. Alright, so let's go on change. Yep. Alright, so let's grab that formula. Go to on change. Okay. We got to change this to self, and that'll fix that. Alright. If you're referring to the same control that you're on, just put self. Don't worry about putting a name there. That way if you change stuff later, it doesn't affect anything. Okay? So, let's change this to this. Should say 1. Okay. And now we're going to go back to original one. Now it should say 24. Okay, now it's working. Okay. And then, just to keep things real, I'm going to add a refresh button in here. So we're going to go here. We're going to go reload. Nope, it's sync. I couldn't remember which one it was. And it was one or the other. Sync. Okay. We're going to add a sync button here. We're going to make it quite a bit smaller. And then I'm going to put it right here at the end. Okay. And our sync button is going to have this on it. So on our on select, it's basically going to rerun the collection. So go DRP bulk team select. Okay. So when we select it, it's not going to do anything but this. Okay. Now we're going to put. We got 2 more things we got to add, and we'll be done. Okay, we got to add another gallery and we got to add another button. So let's go ahead and add our gallery in. Okay, so we're going to add another blank flexible height gallery. No, not flexible height, it's vertical. Vertical is all I need. Okay, so let's move it over here. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and fix this. I hate the fact that it makes it gigantic. You don't need nothing that big. Okay. Now our items, if I remember right, I think it's the sort, call items. Okay. Our items are going to be this. Goes if is blank, call group members, otherwise go if it's not blank, call group, because there's a, when this page first loads, this is blank, okay, which means there's nothing in the collection, and this will throw an error because it's looking for something when it has nothing. Okay, so you want to do it this way, and then I'm going to add two things inside of here. First I'm going to do is insert a label so I can display the name of each person, right? And we'll make it pretty long. We only got two things in here. Alright. Now, you could, just to save space. Okay, so it looks like Liz Thornburg is the longest I got, so I can do two in here. So we can go in here and make our wrap count 2. Just to save space. Okay. It looks more professional too. And then what I want to do is I'm going to make this smaller font, and then I'm going to change the height to like 20, 15. Yeah, 15 works. And then I'm going to go in here, change the template size to 15. See how much better that looks? Alright, so there's our names. Okay. Now I'm going to shrink this up a little because I don't want it quite that big. And then I'm going to add another button. And this one's a simple button. It's just a return back to the main screen. Okay. So we're going to go here. Let's go ahead and clap this up. We're going to put return. Ooh, I'll put two E's there. Return to main screen. Alright, so let's make our font a little smaller. Okay. And literally all this is going to do is close this container. Okay. So we're going to go here. We're basically going to close both containers just in case they're both open. So we're going to put them both in there. Okay, so for on select, I'm going to put both of these in here. So let's open this up a little. Alright. I didn't think it grabbed that right. Alright, so it's going to clear this collection. It's going to clear the collection for this, and then we're going to reset our text bulk email input, and then it's going to clear our drop down. So when we come back the next time, it'll be empty. Okay, and that's pretty much the screen right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select we're going to do line manager. I know I keep picking on that one group, but it works. Alright, I'm going to pause the video for a second because I want to collect the email addresses I want to add to this bulk add thing so I can show you that it works. Okay, I'm going to show you how I set up the Excel so that way you know how to do this. Okay, So I'm going to start a new Excel file. I'll bring it up in the screen so you guys can see it. Alright, so I have all my email addresses. What I do is I open up the A column, to encodate all the email addresses, and I stick them anywhere and I paste them in one at a time. Now, you don't want to have blanks in here. I mean, it doesn't matter if you do or don't, but it's always better just to remove them. Okay, and I'm going to find mine in here. This is basically in my dev environment. These are all my email addresses. So, where's mine at? It's not in no order, so it makes it hard to find. Okay, here's mine. So I'm going to remove mine because I don't want it airing out on me. Alright, so what you're going to do is once you get your email addresses, I open this up pretty wide. Then I go equals text join. Set your delimiter. Okay, since it's going to be a text delimiter, I'm going to have to put quote quote, and then I want, okay, I keep forgetting arrow keys don't work when you're inside Excel. Alright, semicolon, comma. Do you want to ignore empty cells or not? True. Remember, we always put our true and false in lowercase, and then we put our array. Okay, I want the whole A column, so I'm going to go A colon A, and then I'm going to close it. Hit enter. When you hit enter, it creates it. Okay, so I'm going to wrap text so you can see that what it's doing is putting a semicolon between each of the email addresses, and then basically all you do is you select the cell and you hit copy. Okay, and then you're done with Excel. You're going to come in here. Need to run my app. Select inside here. You're going to go paste. Okay, it looks like a conglomeration of crap, right? Which is fine. Okay, so now you're going to do is we're going to add to this. So we hit add members. Okay, if it blanks out, then you're good to go. Okay, now go up here and hit refresh. Uh-oh. Well, don't look like there's any errors. Let's try refresh again. Maybe I did it too quick. Alright, well, let's change to a different one. And back up to line manager. Okay, what happened with my flow was I still had it set up for my work environment instead of my tenant I'm currently working out of, so I had to change over the email addresses to recognize for my tenant domain name and my external account name, because I have a few external accounts in there too. As you can see now, when I refreshed, all the names came up like they were supposed to with their display names. Okay, so it did work. So that part works. Now, you need to write, I didn't do this yet, but you probably need to do this with yours. You need to write in, if you need to put like a condition in there somewhere where it says if it exists, don't process it. Otherwise it will throw an error. It'll, even though it's not an error, it still will process it as an error because it can't do the operation. Okay, you got to treat it like a 2-year-old. Okay, so I still had errors on mine, but it still did what I wanted it to do. Okay, so it's there. Alright, so now that we're done, we're going to return to the main screen. Oh, I didn't say, okay, I forgot to do one thing. Our variable for this, to close it, var batch add, I did not put it on the screen here. Okay, so we got to go to our visible. Make sure we're on our container. Okay, we're going to set our container visible property to var batch add. Okay, and then we're going to insert another button down here. Woo! No. Why'd I grab that? No, didn't put it in there. Where's my button? Oh, it went in my container, didn't it? Okay. We're gonna cut. Go back to main. Paste. I do this sometimes. I forget to come out of the container, and it puts it in container instead. Alright, so we're gonna drag it down here. And I'm going to call this bulk. I can't remember what I called it on my other one. It was better. Oh, bulk add users to one group. Okay. And of course it's too big, so we're going to make it a little smaller. We'll try 12. 12 works. Alright. And then on here, we're going to go over here. We're going to go set var batch add to true. Okay. Now when you go back to it, alright, so now I got to make this on top. See, whatever you do last is going to be on top. Just got to bring this to the front and it'll disappear. Alright, so I'm going to call this bulk add, so I know which container it is. Alright, let's close it up. There's show members, there's bulk add. Okay, as you can see, this is empty, and no errors are being thrown, which are good. Okay, and that's pretty much the whole app. Okay, so now that I'm done with the screen, I'm going to go back, and now you're back to the main screen. And now, just to do a final test, we're going to go to our line manager over here, and we are going to open up that screen, and as you can see, we got all our people, and it does have a scroll bar here. So like I said, I hate scroll bars. Oh, it's being dumb. Alright, I want to turn off my scroll bars and turn on my navigator, and then I can just do this. Okay, it's barely too small. Okay, so in this case I could do this and I'll be happy with it. Okay, shows the number of members, shows my ID, and then I'm going to bring my button down a little bit, and then I gotta put this one on top because my bulk button should not be showing on this screen. It should be showing on the other one. So reorder, bring the front. Okay, that's why it's important to go through your app when you're done. Okay, and that'd be it, as they say. Now this navigation step, you can actually test, you can change that too. So if you select your gallery, you come over here, you got navigation step right here. You can change, it defaults to 1, but you can go 10, 15, 50, 100, 150, I don't care. Typically what you do is your navigation step is one whole page. Okay, unless you just want to do them one at a time. And as we say, that is that. If you got any questions or comments, some suggestions, complaints, gripes, put them in the comments below. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And I hope you learned a lot from this video.